Hollywood is internationally ubiquitous. No matter where you are in the world, you're bound to hear about the latest movies coming from the States. You'd have to be living under a rock to avoid them. However, this only seems to be the case for Hollywood. Nowhere else seems to have this power. It's a shame that there's some films that released that only seem to gain fame in their respective nations. Hopefully with the success of Parasite, this should soon change, but most of the time, foreign films only seem to gain attention after an American remake. It makes you wonder why American companies do this. Why not just applaud the film and be inspired by their content? Why is there a need to remake them at all? Because as you will see in this list, American remakes are rarely successful, and you're better off just seeking out the source material. I am Kirsten from What Culture, and these are 10 times that Hollywood failed to adapt world cinema. Number 10, Elita Battle Angel. This is a classic case of trying to squeeze as much source material into one feature-length film. 2019's Elita Battle Angel failed to make anyone care about the plot, unlike its original Battle Angel. Now this isn't to say that Robert Rodriguez failed entirely in his adaptation of Yukita Kishiro's manga and subsequent film. The visuals are spectacular and the performances from Rosa Salazar and Christoph Waltz are as strong as ever. Watch for the eye-catching visuals and the acting, but be sure to check out the original. Number 9, I Think I Love My Wife. Now this 2007 film had a good premise. It was written by comedic genius Chris Rock and is based on the last movie in Eric Romer's Six Moral Tales, Love in the Afternoon. The idea of Chris Rock taking on a French New Wave film and putting his own twist on it should raise the eyebrow of any cinephile. And the story of a married city man and his temptation to cheat is a good basis for a rom-com. But unfortunately, it failed to emulate the style and theme of the original and instead going for laughs and failing. If you're not much of an art house fan and think that this light-hearted version would be a good substitute, then we recommend just avoiding the whole damn thing. Number 8, Death Note 2017. The cries and wails of social media still ring fresh in our mind after Netflix dared to touch sacred ground in 2017. After all, the much-loved manga/anime had already received a live-action remake in Japan in 2006, which is amazing. Kenichi Matsuyama as L is just mwah! Chef's kiss. The Japanese adaptation, however, did actually make 2 full-length films due to the length of the plot, and although Tetsuya Oishi did change the ending, it did keep the mood of the original source material. The American version, however, directed by Adam Wingard, only seemed to keep the blueprint from the manga. There is only one reason to watch this film, and that is Willem Dafoe's excellent rendition of Ryuk. You're best off just avoiding the rest of it. Now, if you've only seen this one, then I would completely understand why you just want to ignore the whole thing. But please, go watch the Japanese adaptation of this film. Or better yet, watch the anime or read the manga. Number 7, The Grudge, 2004. They did it with The Ring/Ringu with relative success, so why would Hollywood not cash in on the whole creepy child horror theme from Japan? This time, however, Hollywood didn't quite capture the atmosphere of the original. The original Ju-on, The Grudge, had a chilling idea that a soul dying in rage goes on to create a terrible curse. The American version, though, didn't quite capture that vision, though. This one seemed to go for jump scares over disturbing imagery, which was typical and dull. Hollywood haven't given up on the franchise, however, with a reboot released earlier this year, 16 years later. Unfortunately, that wasn't very good either. Number 6, Oldboy, 2013. It's difficult to understand why Spike Lee bothered to remake Park Chan-wook's dark masterpiece in the first place. 2003's Oldboy was already a classic in Korean cinema and had already made its way to the West in 2013, so frankly there was just no need for an American interpretation in any way. But Lee went ahead anyway and uncharacteristically made a bad film. What stood out in the original was its bleakness, a bleakness that stayed with you weeks after the film had finished, but in Lee's adaptation the whole film just felt contrived. It's bloody, has decent fight sequences, and Josh Brolin plays a broken man well enough, but it just doesn't have the nightmarish, unhinged qualities of Park Chan-wook's original magnum opus. If you haven't seen either, just watch the original. Number 5, The Tourist. In The Tourist, Johnny Depp plays the wrong man. Or does he? Another remake of a French film here. The original was a 2005 film called Anthony Zimmer, which had a pretty intriguing plot. It's just a shame that said plot was lost in translation when Florian Graf Henkel von Donnersmarck brought it to Hollywood in 2010. Even with Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp in the lead roles, it's difficult to sit through this movie with absolutely zero substance. Plus, Jolie and Depp have zero chemistry, which can't be said for the brilliant Sophie Marceau and Ivan Attal in the original. Something good did come of this version though, as Ricky Gervais tore it to shreds at the 2011's Golden Globes, which is well worth looking up on YouTube. Number 4, Taxi, 2004. Now a cult classic, 1998's French film Taxi can be watched again and again, and with a script written by Luc Besson, it isn't a surprise. It was a slick comedy with awesome action sequences, and fans loved it enough for 4 sequels to be spawned. The same cannot be said, however, for the 2004 remake by Tim Story, starring Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. Yes, the American talk show host Jimmy Fallon. This whole film is just a confused mess. With tacky gags involving laughing gas, impossible car chases and a ridiculous plot, it's a wonder why Besson even gave the go-ahead for this. No sequels here, this one is best forgotten. Number 3, Ghost in the Shell, 2017. Even if we ignore the whitewashing scandal of the 2017 Americanization of Ghost in the Shell, there is still plenty to complain about. It's true that the visuals are spectacular and the actors, especially Scarlett Johansson, gave decent performances, but the plot was changed in a pretty drastic way. The philosophical ending was replaced with a happy conclusion. Viewers left the cinema feeling more stupid than when they walked in, which is the opposite effect of the original. What's worse is that they left the door open for sequels in a tacky attempt at an Americanized Ghost in the Shell franchise. Thankfully, nothing has been announced yet. Number 2, Godzilla, 1998. Even with a humorous performance by Jean Reno, there isn't a lot going for this 1998 reimagining of Japan's famous monster. The original Godzilla was released in 1954, and despite its dated effects, it still remains a landmark in film. The story had dark undertones too, as it's no secret that the monster's destruction of the city symbolised the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was almost an offence to the source material then for Hollywood to cash in on the franchise in such a cheap fashion. The story made no sense, the effects were completely overblown, and the plot could have been written by a 2-year-old on a broken typewriter. Close your eyes though, and you could actually have quite a lot of fun watching it. Number 1, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Stieg Larsson's Millennium trilogy of novels had already been turned into successful movies in Sweden, their original setting. Although the third film was disappointing, they were true to the books and were received well by critics. Known for his grittiness in past films like Zodiac, Fight Club and Seven, David Fincher had his turn at bringing Larsson's dark world to life in 2011. With Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara as the lead roles, this film was not bad at all. It's a shame then that they didn't continue the series and therefore the story was never finished. Fede Alvarez rebooted the series in 2018 with a whole new cast and a story that's not even by Larsson. Too little, too late by Hollywood. We recommend ignoring this one and instead going back and watching the original trilogy, directed by Niels Arden Oplev and Daniel Alfredson. The story's there and it's overall a great movie. And there we go, the 10 times that Hollywood failed to adapt world cinema. Now, I don't know about you, but I watched the remake of The Grudge before I watched the original, and I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was quite scary, it was quite creepy, I thought it was quite well done, and the actual ghost lady herself was terrifying. But yeah, the actual original Grudge is just so much scarier, and you realise just how amazing the originals are, and is it just really worth remaking them at all? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Should these films be remade, or should they just be left alone and appreciated for what they are, which are masterpieces in my eyes? If you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. There is also a little bell icon down there that if you hit it, you will be notified of any new videos that we make and are uploaded onto YouTube. You can follow me at Kirsten Ria with 2 A's on Instagram and Twitter, as well as What Culture is also on Instagram and Twitter as well. But for now, I'll have to bid thee farewell. I have been Kirsten Ria from What Culture, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Oh, what a lovely list and or other video format that was. I for one sure enjoyed that list and or other video format we just watched together, but hey, out with the old and in with the new, because time has passed since then, and we're going to talk about What Culture Horror instead, which is our brand new channel we've just launched for all things spooky, scary, weird and wonderful. So if you like lists, we've got them. If you like news videos, we've got those. If you like podcasts, we've got those as well. So there's all sorts of treats for your list and or other video format needs you can check out on What Culture Horror. It's very good if I do say so myself. I like it a lot and I think you should check it out. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, sacrifice your firstborn child to the overalls of What Culture, and also check out What Culture Horror. Thanks for watching.